Great. So glad to hear it, Willie. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning for this great announcement as it relates to our planetarium and some of the exciting plans that we have for the future. First, you will hear from Mayor Lumumba, followed by Planetarium Manager Mike Williams and Deputy Director of Cultural Services David Lewis. Please welcome Mayor Lumumba to the podium.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning for this very exciting announcement. We are thrilled to stand before you this morning to give you a much anticipated update as it relates to the progress of the refurbishing of the Russell C. Davis Planetarium. The planetarium has been closed since April of 2018 due to a roof leak and interior damage. And now that the leak is fixed and we have a dry building, we saw an opportunity for the planetarium to have its first full renovation in the last 40 years. And while we are excited about the history of this planetarium, we are even more excited about the next 40 years. With that, we are going to showcase what we are doing now and how you can get involved and what the future will look like. The city is committed to this project of ensuring that we will be one of the top national planetariums for the next 40 years. If the funding continues to come through, our aim is to reopen the planetarium in April of 2022 in the heart of the city of Jackson's bicentennial celebration. I'd like to not only thank the hardworking people with our Human and Cultural Services Division, both David Lewis and Mike Williams. I'd like to now give an opportunity for Mike Williams to share more details on this project with you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. In its 42-year history, Jackson's Planetarium has established itself as an iconic part of the downtown landscape, an eager partner of the community, and a rite of passage for the students of our state. From school field trips to medical teleconferences, concert performances and comedy shows, to legislative panel discussions, the planetarium has been unique among Jackson venues in our ability to serve such a wide range of our citizens' needs. The time has now come to expand on that offering and step into what we know as Mississippi's bright future. Our state is friendly to business in general and to aerospace in particular, but we experience an almost 80% shortfall between the number of STEM jobs that we produce and the number of students we graduate to fill them. Our legislators deserve credit for attracting these high-paying industries to our state, and the City of Jackson's Planetarium seeks to build on these achievements by investing in our citizens through providing and highlighting the pathways to higher STEM education rates and higher homegrown STEM employment. In doing so, we hope to stem the tide of internal job deficits and brain drain. Mississippi has gifted to the world some of the most amazing people it's ever known. In my time at the planetarium, our kids have left me with little doubt as to the heights that they can achieve. But their journey into the future must be facilitated and their minds must be fed. With our ability to impact students at every educational tier and the broader community at large, we see it as our responsibility to place markers that will illuminate the paths to these high-paying jobs and lean into our function as a statewide hub for STEM and space science education. We want to provide an open platform for community events and services and to create a pride point for the people of our great city and state. The next crop of great science and engineering minds has already been born, and they are waiting to fulfill our promise to them of a bright and prosperous future. We see the new planetarium project as the perfect opportunity to start this process anew. This project will take time, as all building projects must, but one of the ways we are continuing our services to the public is through our virtual summer STEAM camp. We've partnered with a rock star JPS physics teacher, Mr. Kendrick Walker, as well as a local extended reality company, Labaki, both leaders in their respective fields, to launch our first virtual summer camp. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused all of us to pivot in any number of ways, and it's probably safe to say we've all been zoomed out at this point. But in an effort to rethink what virtual education means for our students, we decided to up the ante and create a virtual classroom experience like no other. Made possible through generous donations from the Marie R. Horner Foundation and Vince Jordan from Labaki, we'll be providing state-of-the-art VR hardware to 19 students for the duration of our beta virtual summer STEAM program. This hardware will allow them to experience the virtual classroom in a way that's not only enriching with standards-based curriculum, coding, and individual hands-on engineering and science projects, but also is engaging on a level that they're most receptive to. The camp is free of charge and guaranteed to be a blast for everybody. And with that, I will throw to David Lewis.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you all for being here. A large part of our response to the planetarium comes from overwhelming and encouraging outpouring of interest to the return of the planetarium. We've had Facebook messages, phone calls, pop-up visits from people all over curious about when the planetarium is going to reopen. And Mike and I wanted to take the moment, and while it was closed, to properly address the issues internally, but also cast a broader, more vibrant vision for the future. We want to take the principles of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, STEAM, and truly showcase them and the involved careers in a centralized space for the state of Mississippi. Further, we wanted to make sure those principles drove our design process for the renovation, and we've been working with local architecture firm CDFL to do just that. Over the past several months, we've been reaching out to various funding sources at the federal, state, and local level to gauge interest, and the response has been remarkable. The City of Jackson has identified around $2.4 million in various funds to allocate for this project. Part of this includes the funds we have saved from the planetarium's annual endowment from the Marie R. Horner Foundation, previously planned improvements to HVAC and lighting, and an interior demolition. We have also placed a request at the state legislature for funds and applied for a federal grant. With the $100,000 seed funding grant from the Shackelford Fund at the Community Foundation, we have just established a Friends of the Planetarium Fund that will allow us to raise money for our efforts. Since a lot of this inspiration came from the public, we wanted to give them the first opportunity to partake in our fundraising efforts through a crowdfunding campaign that launches today. We had originally planned to launch this and make this announcement in March, but we are thrilled to launch this effort today. Head online and visit yourplanetarium.com to check out the ways you can join us in our effort to renovate the planetarium. Through this campaign, we will offer limited edition merchandise that brings the nostalgic look to the planetarium. You can even get a package that places your name on a seat in the theater. We will run this campaign through the end of August 2020. The money raised in this campaign will cover what we like to call the fun stuff. That's the design work, the exhibition design, the exhibition build-out. We currently are engaging all private businesses and philanthropic endeavors who would like to make a more significant donation to our efforts. Mike and I would love to meet with anybody interested in helping us pursue this effort. And with that, we'd like to unveil the first look at the new planetarium. As the mayor said earlier, we hope to open this in April of 2022 if our funding keeps going along as it is now, which will be in the heart of the city's bicentennial year. And so we look to mark that moment with the celebration of this new planetarium. And with that, we'll take a couple questions, but we wanted to also take a moment and put the mayor in a VR headset, as that's what our kids are going to be doing here for summer camp. That launches in July. It's a beta form, and we've pretty much got our slots already filled. We wanted to reach out to our council members and make sure that they were able to nominate some students. But we hope to expand this in the future and provide this camp to more students. So here, Mayor has the VR headset.
I mean, man, you see, this is one of the responsibilities of the job, to be made fun of and taken advantage of. But no, let me say this. We all have very fond memories of what the planetarium has meant to us throughout our childhood, and we owe it to the next generation that they could share in that enjoyment and excitement. And so I'm very excited about what this iconic building has meant to us and what it will mean to the future. And I just want to again thank the creativity, thank Labaki, thank David, thank Mike for their work, and it's been a real joy to see this come into fruition and all of their hard work, because this is represented more than a job to them. I can tell, talking to the people behind me, that this is a passion. I can tell you that they truly love this work. They're excited. They have, loads of creativity in terms of what this will be. So I think that we can all attest to the fact that as this comes into fruition, this will represent a very, very beautiful opportunity for the city of Jackson. And I look forward to more people wearing this. You should see how you look to me on the other end of this, all right? I may look crazy to you, but the feeling is mutual. If you have any questions, we're prepared to take those questions at this time.
Has any other renovation work already started?
You want to speak to?
We have done a couple of things that have started to clear out the interior. Our next phase will be an interior demolition, which we hope to start here in the next few months. Anything else?
You talk about how the new plan.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about what we wanted to do with the building. This is obviously a very iconic building, and we want to make sure we take that and highlight it and really strengthen it. So one of the things when we were talking to the architecture firm is that we decided to take the second floor, which now you see has a wall off, but we know that there is a large truss that spans across that street. We want to open that up and light it up and bring a lot of that. What that second floor used to be was an administrative office floor, and so we want to actually turn that into a comprehensive and adaptable learning center. So it could be anything from a laboratory to a classroom to a meeting space to a lecture space. We want to be able to function in all different capacities to serve the education needs of someone who may be 3 years old and somebody who may be 73 years old. We want to make sure that we're continuing to teach and continuing to expand the minds of those about STEM principles. And then the third floor will get a full exhibition build out, and then we will retrofit out the theater with a brand new state-of-the-art experience, and then we will also be connecting the Art Center and the Planetarium with a really dynamic atrium that will bring the entrance out to the street here and really wow guests as they enter the facility.
I know you mentioned the VR headsets. What other technology do people expect?
Absolutely. So while we're still in the conceptual design phase, we have been looking at the best of the best. We've been looking at planetariums in Orlando at the Kennedy Space Center. We've been looking at New York City at the Hayden Planetarium, the Adler Planetarium in Chicago. But we've also looked at who's doing technological advancements in general. So Universal Studios and Disney have both been doing these immersive experiences with projection mapping and holograms. And so we want to take what they've learned and what they've been able to do, and while we may not have the budget that they have because it's Disney or Universal Studios, we can have a piece of that and take what they've learned and those technologies and implement that in that. So you may see a projection mapped model of a lunar landscape that may transform into Mars, but we want to make sure that what's in this space when it opens is already thinking ahead, and that's the perspective that we're taking on the project. Yeah, absolutely.
I also want to acknowledge the level of thought that has gone into this project because what David and Mike have also recognized is the void across the market in terms of communities and cities of similar size that are in the radius of the city of Jackson. This is something that is not offered within hundreds of miles of the city of Jackson. And so as we build our plan for the city of Jackson, we don't want to have mimic development. We don't want to follow what other communities are doing, because if people wanted to do that, they would just go there. And so we have to create our unique footprint as a city to the southern region and the opportunities that people from surrounding communities want to take advantage of. This design, this planetarium, is consistent with our vision for the city of Jackson. What we have been consistent in articulating is that we don't want to be a city that is guilty of chasing projects. We want to be a city that chases a collective vision where one decision plays into another decision, and we can see the fruit of our decision making and see a city which is pregnant with possibilities and looks forward to the future, embraces our history and our past, learns from that, and takes on the next step and embraces the future. So we thank y'all for being here. I think we're getting a little overcast, and so we're all going to try to beat the rain. But thank y'all very much for your time. And please, for those people that are potential donors that want to see this come into fruition, that want to see this opportunity for our young people, please reach out to the City of Jackson. Take advantage of the donor packages. Get your name on a seat at the planetarium that you can show your children and your children's children that you made an investment in the City of Jackson. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate you. Candace she's a jacket Nazi, so she